Excel's if function is one of the simplest and most useful spreadsheet functions. You enter a condition or an argument. Excel evaluates the content of a cell in regards to your condition or your argument. You specify a value to be returned if the condition is met. We say that condition then is true. You specify a value to be returned if the condition is not met, and we say that situation is false. My argument here or condition is I want to find out which of these dates, if any, fall before a given date and which fall after. So I'm going to type in here just my given date that I'm going to use in my example. This might come in handy when you're doing things like birthdays and kindergarten entrance. Yeah. So I'm going to go right over here, and I'm going to enter in my formula. There are several ways to do it. Probably the easiest way is to go up here to the Formula tab and highlight the Formula ribbon. And because the if function is a pretty commonly used function, I can come over here to the Insert Function command button and click on that. And you see that there are a range of functions that are pretty commonly used, and the if function is there. Another way is to go over here. I just happen to know that the if function is one of the logical functions. And if I click on this here, I get pretty much similar looking kind of drop down here. So I'm just going to click on if from here. And now I get this little dialog box. The dialog box asks you to fill in 3 fields. The first field that I want to do is called the logical test. This is going to be the test in which Excel is going to determine if the condition is met or not met for any given cell that we're examining. So I want to know if this date here, so I'm going to click on this date, which is in cell D2. Is D2 less than my target date? I'm going to click right up here. So right here it tells you that this is going to be the situation if the argument is true. If I click on down here, I want to write in what is my value if the condition is met, if the value is true. And I'm going to just put in early. And then down here I'm going to tab down. I'm going to put in late. Now, if you look up here, you'll notice that they put early in quotation marks. That would be important for you to remember if you were going to be entering this data in manually. Right? But we'll take a look at that in a minute. And here, up in my formula bar, D2, if it is less than G1, it'll return a value of early. Notice the quotation marks, then a comma, and then late in quotation marks. So all I have to do is click on this and drag to copy my formula all the way down to the bottom of my list. And lo and behold, you have just learned the great truth about computers. The great truth about computers is the good news and the bad news. The good news is a computer will do exactly what you tell it to do. The bad news is that a computer will do exactly what you tell it to do. If you look at our target date here, which is September 1st, well, this date here, which is in February, should be an early date. If we look at some of these values here, what we're going to see is that we go down here, as we copied this down, the reference to the target date also got moved down. And as we copy a formula down and the reference is copied down, that's called a relative reference. And that is very handy most of the time. What we need to do, though, is we need to change this value here, G1, into an absolute reference. So it doesn't change as we copy the formula down the page. So I'm very simply going to click here on the G1. Then I'm going to do F4. F4. And you'll notice, if I highlight this again, now the G1 has a $sign above or to the left of the G and a $sign to the left of the 1. which means that no matter where I copy this formula down, the reference for that target is going to stay put. And now you can see my date down here. I got a 6, I got an 8, I got a 3. Okay, all these dates where the months are earlier than September, they do show up as early. And if you want to, you could very easily then sort these, filter these. There's a variety of things that you can do. So here is the if function, and we did a little bit of absolute referencing.